in regards to something that happened for you in 2008. So we go back. So this is going back a few years.
Yep. Is this another crash?
This wasn't your crash.
Yes. Thank you.
Or did you actually cause the crash?
I didn't cause the crash.
Okay. Yeah. So what happened? So this is this is where we've seen it on BBC's doco. So you've like got an award for this. So it must have been a great crash to get an award. I've never got an award at a crash.
It was a big one. It was a big one from Moreno Soprapto. Yeah, so it was F3 Asian Formula 3 Series 2007. I qualified in pole position, made a bad start, lost one position. The guy coming through from third place to try and take my position as he was jinking out at the last moment to try and overtake me, just caught my rear wheel with his front wheel at probably 160 miles an hour. So quite fast. What's that in kilometres?
Oh, I know. That's
220,
like
230.
230,
yeah. And basically did the same as what Mark Webber did at the Singapore Grand Prix on Kovalainen years ago, where he clipped the back and did a somersault over the top of him. So Moreno clipped the back of my car, somersaulted. As I was driving through the corner, I could look up to the right and I could see his helmet, and his car was completely upside down.
No halos back then?
No halos back then, no.
Yep.
No, correct. He landed, somersaulted, it was a huge crash, massive. And then he got wedged in the car, stuck between the barrier and the gravel trap on the floor, upside down. The engine was half hanging off, fuel was pouring out, water was pouring out. The car was in a mess, in half. I stopped and helped him get out of the car and just did what anybody else would have done in that situation, I think. And the car burst into flames just as we were in there. I undid his belts and he fell out onto the floor and he was sort of half conscious, half not. The car burst into flames and the whole car burnt to zero. The whole carbon fibre was completely evaporated in the end, and the tyre barrier caught on fire. The thing was on fire for 4 hours. It was ironic because Moreno's father runs the track. It was owned by the Suhartos in Indonesia. Jakarta was the circuit. I've got Moreno Soprapto very close behind me in my slipstream. The sort of speeds we hit there would probably be 165 miles an hour. And then the braking point is just after you reach top speed.
Still on the first lap, the drivers power down the straight, jostling for position. But then disaster strikes.
And the moment I touch the brakes, I can feel that slight dink in the rear of my car. When he's actually hit the rear of my car and the front of the wing has gone up, it's acted more like a plane, so he's actually like taken off. The next thing I know, I look up in the air and I can see Moreno is actually upside down and overtaking me over the top of my head. Upside down. It's ripped off the rear wing off of my car as well, so my car's spun out of control as well and ended up in the gravel quite near where he's come to rest.
James realised his friend was in trouble. Moreno's car had smashed into the barrier, trapping him inside. He runs to help his friend.
I could tell this was a huge accident, so the first thing that was in my mind was that Moreno was okay. The car had somersaulted, rolled over, and he could have broken a leg, he could have been unconscious. I just wanted to get in there and do anything I could. I could see that Moreno wasn't actually going to be able to get out of the car on his own. I jumped up onto the tyre barrier and tried to lever myself with my legs up on the barrier and tried to push the car over onto its wheels, and whilst doing that I managed to push the car like a few inches away from the barrier, which was just enough room for me to slot myself down between the car and the barrier, which gave me then access to Moreno, so I could kind of help him with his seat belts. There was enough room to get my crash helmet below the car and the barrier, so I was kind of just feeling around in the car and doing whatever I could, really.
With no thought for his own safety, James struggles to help his friend and rival Moreno escape.
At this point there was fuel pumping all over, like absolute worst case scenario, fuel pumping all over a boiling hot engine, and I knew it was going to burst into flames any moment. I managed to turn the fuel pump off. I thought it'd buy us some more time. But the vapour had ignited then and we were actually on fire. It's now like a mad rush to get out as quick as we can. I've hopped out the top and he's crawled underneath the car. I'm not even sure how we managed to get him through that hole. It was very small, but he got out. From the moment we actually ran away from the car, the seat was already on fire. I think Moreno just had some light burns around his neck, but the moment we were out, it was on fire. At that moment, it was as close as you get. One more second, you'd have had more burns. 10 more seconds, it would have been pretty horrific, yeah. The whole Formula 3 car just burnt to nothing. Within, I think, 20 minutes, you couldn't even see anything. From the wheels to the tyres to the carbon fibre cockpit, everything had completely gone. It was amazing.
I think when he shout, make me like wake up, like make me wake, and then he said, "You have to go, get out from the car," and then he tried to pull me out.
Yeah, so Moreno was out, safe, just some light burns on his neck. I had a singed suit. He was fine. We restarted the race. I got to take my pole position back, which was fortunate, because if they'd have run it within half an hour of the red flag, I would have been a DNF and not been allowed to start.
So they redid the race?
Yeah, we restarted the race. Moreno obviously wasn't in it because his car had disintegrated by this point. Yeah, it was good for me. I went on to win the race. It was one of them weekends that was quite pivotal in my career, because I won the race, which led to me winning the championship at the end of the year. And from helping Moreno escape from his car, I won some awards, got a lot of coverage in the motorsport press, and it launched me into a bit of a profile within England. The BBC did a documentary, got invited along to Buckingham Palace and won an award from the Queen, the Royal Humane Award. Yeah, for something that to me didn't ever feel like I really did anything that special, just helped to make it out of a car because he was in a predicament, and then got massively rewarded for that. But yeah.
Yeah, the footage of it is there's good footage of that too, which is we'll try and show that.